Someone shot the food. Life force flooding out.
What is up, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between of the internet? It is June the 14th, 2021. Welcome back to your Mr. Video Game Live Super Show. As always, sponsored, endorsed, and brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment. Clap your hands, say yeah. I've got coffee. I hope you guys got coffee, because this was a lot of week. Um,
My body is coffee at this point.
Yeah, as I am just an enthusiast, whereas you are actually like the person out there telling the world how it be. And I don't know how you keep up with all of it.
You should see the notebook I have beside me with all the different games that jumped out at me.
Oh my God,
There's
I'm
a
sorry.
lot. It's okay. No, it's all right. These are all things that I am genuinely excited about, but also it's very telling that this list is very long and I wish I could show it to you. But I can't right now. I can talk about all of them, but I don't know if we'll have enough time. Anyway, we are just
See you next.
destroying the normal structure of the intro for the
Oh,
show.
who gives a fuck? It's the E3 show. Structure be damned. Nobody
Ugh.
cares about structure.
Yeah,
God.
I mean, the only times we really ditch structure are for our E3 show and our Game of the Year episode for New Year's.
Yeah,
That is very true. That is very true.
we'll have
So,
bits of normal structure here and there, but quite frankly, because of all of these fucking lists, I'm winging it because I got like 4 different places for me to pull information from as we go through, and of course individual links for each one of the shows that we'll probably talk about. It's been a fascinating week.
everything is content.
Oh my god. The thing that I've learned the most over this week is which companies got used to working from homes and which ones just fucking winged it this week. It is goddamn obvious. I am looking at you, Square Enix, which companies just kind of looked at what they had to do and I don't get this together. Just shove it all out there. Put the content on a disc and ship it. It's fine.
But they got the dude from Critical Role.
They did. They got Mercer. I was thrilled.
They got Mercer to intro and outro 30 plus minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy footage.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Cool and great.
You know what? I need to pull up the IMDb cast list of that game.
You know what? I want Mercer to do the voiceover for the trailer for the Xbox mini fridge.
Oh.
I I want that thing completely ironically. It looks so stupid. But I want it.
I'm gonna guess Brian hasn't had the time to play shit. Lindsay, how about you?
Actually, I played a
uh,
shitload of Loop Hero.
Loop Hero. Yeah, that tracks. That really tracks.
Yeah, because it's a good game to do while you're watching videos or rewatching videos.
Yeah, I played a lot of Puzzle Quest while like listening and watching some of these. Like I've been listening to nothing but like the VODs after they go because don't really care about what they go live, but try to listen because I have a podcast or something. I try to be somewhat informed for, I guess, for reasons.
Mhm.
But Lindsay, did you actually touch anything over the last week, or
No,
fair enough?
no. And they haven't announced the voice cast for Guardians. I'm kind of pissed.
I'm kind of surprised. Well, I guess we'll get there when we talk about the Square conference, but
Yeah.
I am a little surprised by that. We'll talk more about that in a little bit.
I'm gonna make my what have I been playing kind of quick. Middle. 1 second. Let me fix the capture real quick here. That's a
Uh-oh.
boy. Howdy, Kelvin. The Final Fantasy Remake Intergrade came out. It is short. I
How
don't.
short?
Like 6 to 8 hours.
Huh.
Seriously?
Yeah, there's only 2 chapters. And yeah,
I am disappointed.
we're talking about chapters as in the length of the other chapters in Final Fantasy Remake. That the whole game came out to 15 chapters. It's a short boy. You don't get shit out of it. I am
That's
good.
that's really saddening, especially given how much time it took you to be able to like actually play it.
You know, like okay, in order to play it, I had to put my PlayStation 4 copy into my PlayStation 5, install that, then download the installation updates and for the PS4 version, then I could download the PS5 version, then I could patch the PS5 version, and then and only then could I actually get the DLC. That was it took me longer to get everything patched properly so I could play it than it actually took me to play it. Um, you play entirely as Yuffie and her big sack of meat friend. A very, very nice boy who is super handsome and clearly has no impact on anything past this episode. So, it did show how they're going to, or at least kind of show how they're going to bring in the Dirge of Cerberus stuff into the main game. So that's cool. For anyone who actually remembers what happened in Dirge of Cerberus, because I had to Wikipedia because I forgot. I mean, shit, it's been
Shame.
20 years.
How dare you?
How dare I forget the spin off for the portable console that I never owned and just. Yeah. It's fine. It's a short little laugh. There's no new enemy types to fight at all. Um, so don't expect any like revelations in gameplay. You can like work to like there's a thing that allows you and your friend that the two of you play as to basically sync up of what they're doing together, but you can't physically control him yourself at all.
Hmm.
Coop is right. I am thinking Dirge of Cerberus, Crisis, or I'm thinking Crisis Core was the PSP, Dirge of Cerberus was PlayStation 2, but I did not own a PlayStation 2 at the time that it came out because mine died. And I didn't own a PlayStation again until the PlayStation 4. History. Um, I, there's a lot of really neat cutscenes. My
Yeah.
opinion, though, is this isn't worth a buy. Like, just watch somebody else play it. You're not getting anything out of it.
It's interesting because they kind of built this thing as like a sort of a story connector thing to the next game. Did you get any kind of feel from that?
No,
Okay.
not at
Hmm.
fucking all. Like, um, I won't go into spoilers while on the podcast, there is definitely a scene where everyone is walking out, and how they get to Calm. In case you
Hmm.
actually care about how the cast of the main game get to Calm, but the
Okay.
entirety of Yuffie's game takes place before the Sector 7 slums fall.
Huh.
Yeah, the entirety of the gameplay takes place before then.
That's so weird considering the messaging around this DLC.
I know. And you don't physically interact at any point with the main cast.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. That was something where they kind of teased that, like in the announcement trailer, where they had like Yuffie sort of like off to the side as stuff with the main cast was happening, being like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to go that way and deal with that bullshit." And, not that Yuffie would say, "I don't want to deal with that bullshit," but you know what I mean.
Sure, but you kind of like expected that the actions that you took doing this would explain maybe some side things from the main game that didn't really get explained during it, or that
Okay.
like anything would interact with each other.
In that way, yes. In that way, I definitely agree
It
with you
it,
on
it
that. I
does
thought
not.
it would have like some interaction story wise. They're not necessarily between the characters, so that's disappointing to hear
Yeah,
because it
this
sounds like that's exactly what a lot of people were looking to when it came to this.
yeah, that's what I was looking forward to. Like, it tells a little side story on like maybe what was going on with Shinra at the time. No, there's a little bit of a setup for the next game. That's about it.
Hmm.
So it was a. Meanwhile, while the people we actually care about are doing cool shit, this is also happening.
Yeah, like you can play a board game with Wedge.
Is the board game good?
No,
Damn it.
it's Fort Condor. It is the Fort Condor minigame turned into. You know what? Let me see. I'm sure there must have been some Fort Condor gameplay. Here it is right here.
Uh, uh,
Fort Condor is dumb as hell. You just place down units and they automatically act.
So they gave us auto chess.
Yeah.
yo, Final Fantasy is bridging into so many different genres now.
Yeah.
You know they're gonna put out an auto chess like breakaway, like a Gwent sort of thing.
Oh, and by the way, if you ever do happen to play it and you give a shit about this whole Fort Condor thing, when you get to the train, which doesn't take terribly long to get there, if you board the train, you're not finishing any Fort Condor shit. You're not. There's no going back.
Hmm.
But look, you gotta talk to Johnny and make fun of him. Alright, I said I'd be quick, and I was not. Let's
Okay.
real quick, Game Builder Garage for the Nintendo Switch. Sure, let's watch this weirdo do it. If you have messed around with any of the Labo stuff, just think of Labo but applied to creating a video game. Like, they give you an interface to show you how you can build stuff, and clearly he has found things to download and play, which is a very possible thing. Somebody made this with the studio, obviously. And it does teach you a fair bit about programming, but not the really like deep level stuff, more like how objects interact with each other and that sort of thing. It is, however, really cute presentation, and maybe the nicest way I've ever seen somebody try to teach children what programming looks and feels like without making them actually program.
Hmm.
So
So it,
it's like drag and drop programming.
yeah, it is all GUI interface.
Interesting. It's kind of what I expected it to be, but I don't know. It's intriguing. I saw someone like post saying they had made like a Minecraft 2 in this or something.
Neat. Like,
I
So it's Mario Maker Plus.
well, you can make a whole lot of games, but there isn't a whole lot of objects for you to mess around with, as you might
Mm.
see from this as well. The thing that really annoyed me, if you want to download somebody's game, you got to know that game code.
Of course you do.
You have to know that particular game code. There is no searching for games other people have made, no ranking system like in Mario Maker at all. It is just
Nintendo will never figure this out.
no. And even in the thing, they were very much like, hey, be very careful when downloading things. There are bad people out there making bad things. So make sure when you get a code that it's a verified source that you trust. Like, Jesus Christ, you have to make me find people actually willing to make a thing and share a code in the first place rather than, like, any like easy way for me to be like, hey, here's some neat things people made with this. These are really cool ideas. Yeah,
We can't curate it ourselves. You figure it out, dumbos.
exactly.
Uh.
So there you go. I was very disappointed this week, but not mad, just disappointed. Because they were both fun. My time was not wasted.
No, I mean, There looks like there's a lot of interesting things to be had from Game Builder Garage, at least.
Yeah, and Brian, if you want me to just throw everything about Final Fantasy VII at you after the stream, I can do it in like 5 minutes.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, we have two quick stories to talk about before we dump ourselves into E3. Um, we kind of talked about this a little bit before. The donation history of Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, has been dumped on the internet. And the internet have basically gone into two camps. One using the hashtag I stand with Scott. So if you've seen that around, it is in relation directly to Scott Cawthon. And the other side very mad at Scott Cawthon. If you don't know, he makes the final Five Nights at Freddy games. He is the mastermind behind literally all of it. And with his information dump, he does give a lot of money to local causes, but he also donated very heavily to conservative groups and Donald Trump himself. And despite him going out of his way to say, no, I'm very pro LGBT and everything, I love people, and I want to do what was the least harm to everyone.
He's a fucking liar. That's what he is.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna go as far to say he's a liar because I'm sure he believes every word he fucking says. Because that's what people who don't belong to marginalized groups and don't
I was
understand.
going to let you talk first and then clarify, but you said exactly what I expected you'd say, so.
Yeah, basically, I mean, he speaks from a place of privilege where someone who has never experienced prejudice or discrimination for just simply being yourself, and does not understand how the fact that homophobia and transphobia and racism and all these other things are not simply constituted by the fact of you saying a racist thing. There's such thing as casual homophobia. And guess what? Donating to Donald Trump is casual homophobia.
A little bit, yeah.
Donating to Tulsi Gabbard is casual homophobia. I would say those things are outright homophobia because of the statements that those people have made in the past about the community, but I will give them the benefit of the doubt and say they are casual because he is donating to a person that he believes in their wide swath of stupid beliefs. And not just for the fact that Tulsi Gabbard comes from a family that is explicitly homophobic, or that Donald Trump is explicitly homophobic, or that
Yes.
Ted Cruz is explicitly homophobic. I'm sorry, but Scott Cawthon going out on the Five Nights at Freddy's subreddit and putting out this lengthy ass message saying that he's like he has all these friends and people that he knows and loves in these communities, and that like just because like he believes that there are people out there that are that their positions for the LGBTQ community are not as beneficial, but they're good, but their overall platforms are the best thing in his idea, and then still saying that like he supports the LGBTQ community while going out and putting his Five Nights at Freddy money behind all these people. It's him talking out of both sides of his mouth. He's being hypocritical. He's being a garbage person, and there is not a single queer person that I would think that would not read this as him just trying to talk his way out of a situation. I will say this: no one should be doxing him. No one should be threatening him or his family. That should not be happening at
Mhm.
all. And if that is in fact happening, it should stop immediately. No one deserves that. Not that's just not how these things work. But that does not mean that we cannot drag the Chuck E. Cheese wannabe motherfucker for running out here and running his mouth and his money in places where a good chunk of the people that play his games belong to, and the money that he's donating is going to discriminate against them. So yeah, I mean Scott Cawthon, he can say all that he wants and try and talk his way out of this. And I know there are people that are going to be standing with him because they have some weird allegiance to the fucking robot horror game. But like at the end of the day, like I'm sorry, real people matter more than some stupid knockoff Chuck E. Cheese stuff. And I didn't like Five Nights at Freddy's already because I just don't think they're good games per se. Um, and I understand that I'm in the minority in some way in that viewpoint, but also like Scott Cawthon, if I ever had any interest in playing his games, I definitely don't have it now anymore, considering that he wants to prop up people that basically want to deny that I exist. So fuck off.
Like, if you had asked me beforehand if I thought Scott Cawthon had donated Trump, honestly, I would have said yes. Because we know before he did Five Nights at Freddy's, he largely did Bible games. And if you are somebody going out of your way in the year of our Lord 2015 to make video games about our Lord, it probably tells you something about that person. So I already had assumed, honestly, that Scott Cawthon was conservative. I don't entirely understand how somebody that at least seems to be pretty smart backs Donald Trump, but then, as you said, it comes from a place of privilege. I don't think he realizes the harm that he causes with the things that he does, but that is because he is a white Christian from a small town that never had to have any of that questioned. He just thinks, well, I'm helping people get a leg up.
He's not saying faggot. That's basically his argument. And like I look, Twitch, what up? If you want to fucking come down on me, whatever. I'm queer. I'm saying the word. I don't care. That's basically it. Like I'm not homophobic because I'm not saying faggot. That's his whole argument. Guess what? It doesn't matter. Like that's not the only way to be homophobic.
It is very much a mentality that I've seen many times in my life when it comes to people who have not had to have their views questioned. Um, and this is not a time to really get into it, especially because we have an hour and a half to squeeze 12
So
hours worth of convention in. But this sucks. It kind of makes me sad because, like, at
yeah.
least I like the person Scott Cawthon, even if I don't really like his games much. But yeah, no, I'm not mad. I'm just really disappointed.
Yeah. Sorry, I got fired up there, y'all.
No, it's
This
cool.
is
You have the right to.
it. Just
Mhm.
really fucking bothers me. Especially because he's out here talking about like, well, I guess it's for the best if I just get canceled and retired. Like, you're not the victim here, dude. You're literally like a millionaire who is putting so much money behind these people who want to like end our lives effectively. And literally in many cases, like fuck off. Get the fuck out of here. Go make your stupid go hang out with Notch and make some dumb bullshit games where y'all can complain about Twitter all over the fucking Gab or something. Just get the fuck out.
Like, ultimately, this isn't going to change much. I see no world where this literally changes anything. It
Yeah.
is. He's going to continue to make Five Nights at Freddy's, so it goes.
Yeah. Sorry.
The other bit of story is CD Projekt Red, who decided to go ahead and release the information about the hack that we know happened in the middle of E3, so that nobody really noticed it. But we here at Mr. Video Games look at everything, and especially are mad at CD Projekt Red. So yeah.
We know all, we see all, fear us.
It's just it was just the cherry on top of the week of coverage. Just be like, okay, like literally they put this out, I want to say on Wednesday
Yeah.
before things got started. Oh no, they dropped it on Friday. Okay, they dropped it on Friday. So it was
Oh,
after Summer
okay.
Games Fest kickoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the fact that they just dropped this, like, hey, we're just gonna casually leave this here and then kind of step away because we're not showing anything at E3. This is our contribution to the zeitgeist for the week.
The important bit, end quote. Today we have learned new information regarding the breach and now have reason to believe that internal data obtained during the attack is currently being circulated on the internet. We are not able to confirm the exact contents of the data in question, though we believe it may include current/former employee and contractor details in addition to data related to our games. They did further clarify that this had no personal information for consumers, but it likely did have a lot of personal information for current and former employees, which, considering that gamers just love to send death threats and be assholes, and
Ugh.
boy, there's a lot of reason to be mad at CD Projekt Red right now. It doesn't bode well.
This is fucked.
Yeah, I'm certainly mad at the management of CD Projekt Red for putting out literally crap. But I mean, the game was fine, but the the state of the game was absolute crap. And there was no reason for that to have happened. So yeah. But like the individual developers, the people who did all of the writing and the coding and made all of the lovely images and all of that good shit. They did their best. They did the best with the situation they were given. So fuck it, everything's fine by me. With them.
You
Don't.
know what? I don't know what much else is left to say about it, but just like this, how do things keep getting worse with all these things around CD Projekt Red? Like, there's no like every time you think that they're climbing out of something, it just something else comes up and knocks them down of their own. I mean, partially of
Yeah.
their own doing. Like, they should have better protected this information in the beginning. Also, it turns out I think that originally there was somebody that was lined up like as like a white hat buyer for the source code for Cyberpunk that had gotten stolen and was out there or something, and apparently that might have fallen through. So like apparently somewhere on the black market, the source code for Cyberpunk 2077 is for sale.
Yeah, it's already been dropped. It's already been sold.
Oh, I thought it was still up for sale. Okay.
No, like last week or the week before, it got sold. I threw a link in the Discord at some point. It was a
Oh,
ways
okay.
back. Yeah, they it's official. It's been burned.
Sweet.
So,
Hmm.
So
bravo. Bravo, CDPR. Bravo. Y'all suck.
I do still believe that they have some of the most world class developer, story writers, etc., within their halls. But that for the AAA gaming scene, I should explicitly say. So, I'm probably still going to buy their games in the future.
We'll see.
Depends on what they put out. All right,
Yeah. Let's get to some good shit.
yeah. Let's
Yeah.
finally get to talking about E3. We spent an hour or a half hour. Let's get to the things. My favorite list that I found was honestly the GameIndustry.biz article. All the
Ah,
announcements that were important to them.
I see.
So, pretty good stuff. Starting with Friday was the Koch Group, Koch Group,
Coke.
Coke Group. There
Yeah,
we
Coke
go.
Media.
Coke Media. Yeah, they put out a decent looking list of items on Friday. Nothing to me that stands out as oh my god, yes. But man, that is it was a decent show, and I have to imagine most people were going to find something worthy of their time and interest there.
I wonder if Kingdom Come Deliverance, when it comes to Switch, will actually be playable. Because PC was not. It was bad. Even after updates, it was bad.
Yeah, that checks. Um,
Had potential, just never felt finished.
let's see. I do believe after is the next show there the Wholesome Direct, which did have some really neat things.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Of course, an Ooblets update is pretty big stuff. A lot of very beautiful looking stuff. Passeportal 2. I'm
Yes.
not good at saying French, but
No, I actually had a few games that I marked down from the Wholesome Direct that were really intriguing to me. I don't know how we want to do this. Do we want to like as we're going through these smaller shows, just kind of throw out some names, or do
yeah,
you want to
like
say
anything in
things again?
specific.
Okay, yeah. So from this one, definitely Hot Pot for One was an interesting title to me. It's basically kind of like a short little game where you're alone in a foreign country and you're making hot pot by yourself for yourself, and it's kind of like an emotional cooking game that looked really. It's out now on Steam, by the way. It's already out, so that looked interesting. There's another look at Garden Story, which is that RPG from it's being published by Rose City Games. Shout out PDX. Where basically you all the characters are fruits or vegetables or plants and that sort of thing. That looked really neat. Spirit Swap is kind of a rhythm, lo-fi beats match 3 game full of queer people planning a pizza party to end the universe sort of thing. I don't know if it literally ends the universe, but that's basically like it's like the pizza party to end all pizza parties, and it's just queer as fuck. Um, that looked really neat. And then Amber Isle, which is kind of a storefront village thing where you are kind of running a store and selling goods and supplies to a town made up of dinosaur people, and you're trying to help out all the dinosaur people in town. Looked like a fun thing. And then another one that this one stood out to me because, and this is just a very weird thing for me, I think, Power Wash Simulator.
That would be so satisfying.
It is so, oh my, it looks so satisfying. It looks so satisfying. So yeah, that's for the stuff from the Wholesome Direct that stood out to me.
I'm just going to very quickly put up a little bit of the Passportal. This is the one that stand out to me. Now, I didn't play the original. I have watched a lot of people play the original. This just looks even more adorable and fun.
So
Yeah.
Passepartout, which literally translates to go anywhere or
Hmm.
go everywhere.
Yeah,
Oh, also shout out to Lake, which is a game where like you play a busy like city businesswoman who goes out to her hometown in the country to be a mail carrier for 2 weeks. All right.
um, hey, also Skatebird. You play a game
Okay,
bird
bird.
and you skate, and it's Tony Hawk but adorable.
Skate bird.
I actually watched back when the 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 indie demo fest was happening on Steam.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Highlander actually did a stream of a whole bunch of the indie demos, and this was one of them. And I'm sitting here going, "There's no way." But yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, Skateboard is dope, and I like that in the presentation they did for the game for the direct. Here was all about accessibility controls and how they've put in a bunch of accessibility options for people to be able to play the game better.
Yeah, I always love when, there's little touches like that. Like, just little things to make your games more inclusive. I understand, especially for smaller companies, it's hard to build a large amount of inclusivity options into your games, but yeah, when you can, it's really well appreciated.
Oh yeah.
Ubisoft, especially, was one of my favorites.
Really? That I'm not saying that in jest. I'm just that intrigues me.
I think it was the most well presented, especially. Everything that they presented looked really nice. That is not to say every game that they presented is stuff that I really want to get. But from a
I
standpoint of watching and enjoying, and like stuff I might interact with later in some way,
mhm.
thought it was neat, yeah.
Was there anything specifically that stood out to you?
Of course, Mario plus Rabbids. Well, it's
Oh yeah, yeah.
I am going to get Mario plus Rabbids. I am going to play the ever loving fuck out of it.
We're going
The
to
original was such a surprising joy when it launched. Because if you had told me about this prior, I just would have, prior to the game coming out, people kept telling me, "Oh, this is going to be really fun," and I did not believe them. I gave in after like 8 different friends told me that this is one of the best things on the Switch, and by God, it is.
No, yeah, I think that was like the major thing that I took away from this presentation as well was Mario and Rabbids. Like that game looks really good. I'm curious to see how they keep evolving that series going forward. Um, especially now that the first one did so well as an experiment that now like it's a proven thing. They probably have more resources to build out something even bigger and better going forward. Also, it's always fun to see Mario with guns, because Mario with guns is just great. It's my childhood dream. Um, where was it? There was something else here. Oh, Riders Republic. Riders Republic. It it stood out to me. I know last
There's
year when
nothing
we
like
were
kicking back with the
doing
fam after a long
um covering some of the Ubisoft stuff around E3 whenever they initially announced this game, that we were like, this looks real dumb, and real uber dumb. But I don't know. There's something about the presentation that kind of like sold me a little bit more on it.
It looks like a great way to like waste time if you don't want to Like you want to do something, but you don't have to do anything too involved, anything that really needs the brain need. This is just hang out, go for a ride in just a nice little carnival-like atmosphere going on. And that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, so it seems like a game where you can enjoy it to its fullest, but you don't have to know life it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Plus, honestly, like it's given me a first-person downhill mountain biking thing, and that seems intense. And I might be into that for a little while.
The
I don't know.
wingsuit part looks dope as hell.
It does. It does. I liken this to whenever I used to play like PlayStation 2 era motocross games, like MX Unleashed and stuff like that, where it's just like they're fun to play for like little spurts here and there. They're fun to have as something just to kind of like sink your teeth into for a little while, but it's never something that I would like put a whole bunch of hours into. This feels like that in a way. And it's the first time that I've had something that feels like that for a while. So I don't know. It sold me more on it than I expected it to. Let's put it that way.
This like
Yeah.
looked like something that would be really cool to do for the show, right? You just
Oh yeah.
hang out with your friends and fuck around.
This is definitely a social like hang out with your friends and do dumb shit game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll admit, like, the snowboarding bit kind of gave me. Do you guys remember the SSX
Oh,
games?
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
I loved that series, and the snowboarding is definitely giving me those vibes.
It does not help that the fro definitely sounds tricky in my head. Like that is part of that aesthetic that they had. So yeah, this is dope as hell. Like I don't know if I'll be picking it up, but it looks like a neat game if you and your friends want to hang out and just bullshit for a while. This is great.
Yeah, and like Kelvorin makes a good point. It's very similar. It's got the same kind of style of like from Steep.
I want to say it's the same dev team.
You might
Very
be right. It
likely.
has the same look to it, not the same feel, but very much that same visual aesthetic.
Yeah, it's more arcadey than Steep was.
Yeah.
And that I think that's
Yeah.
what the route that they needed to go coming out of Steep. Like Steep was interesting to watch, but it was like it was much more I felt more simulation based to the point where like I don't want to be like doing realistic shit. I want to be like that dude with a mountain bike with a bunch of shit on his back, like jumping off of a cliff. You know?
Yeah.
A
That
little
It
speaks
bit
more
more
to
looks
me.
realistic Death Stranding.
Yo.
Riders Republic is published by Ubi and developed by Ubisoft Annecy.
I want yeah, it's the same dev as Steep. Same dev team. Same studio at least.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That makes total sense.
Um, so other items, the Far Cry 6 DLC, um, it
My
looked
God.
like a cool idea to me. If you like Far Cry 6, like I'm not into it. It does not speak to me, but I have to imagine this speaks to people that really liked Far Cry 6. I could understand where they're coming from with it.
Can I just say one thing real quick about the Far Cry DLC they announced?
Mhm.
And Far Cry in general as a franchise, I think, over the past decade.
Yeah.
Um, I think that the developers of Far Cry and people that play Far Cry um, are do not understand or put far too much weight behind the idea of their villains being good or their villains being interesting because they aren't. They aren't at all, and it's as evidenced very much so by the fact that the let me put that back. Let me roll that back real
There's
quick.
nothing
Not as
like kicking
evidenced by
back with the
anything with the
fam.
characters themselves, because there's really not much to say about the characters themselves. They're all pretty much the same character in a way. They're all playing off of Vash from Far Cry 3, but even just in the context of the games themselves that they're in. Like you saw this across multiple presentations talking about Far Cry. In this one, you had the very like fucking like hard fisted dictator like going on a boat and shooting that shit up. Like, just and like explicitly just like murdering folks. And it had a very, very serious tone to it. In the same way that that initial Far Cry 5 trailer had that same tone to it where people were like, oh, okay, are we finally getting something that's going to say something here? Like, this seems like it could be an interesting idea. And then a day later during the Microsoft press conference, like you had them talking about Far Cry 6 and showing like all like, you want to blow shit up? You want to fucking put this gun in this gun? You want to do all this other cool stuff and blah, 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 blah. The tone is so all over the place in those games that I do not understand how anyone can take their villains seriously because of those tonal shifts. And the fact that they are staking so much about the Far Cry series on the importance their villains play in the series is really frustrating to see because like if you just made this a game where you're like out there like doing dumb shit in some like big environment, and weren't trying to say that these villains are like the best villains in video games, I would probably look more fondly on your series. But like in actuality,
You just described Postal, so
yeah. But I mean, like doing dumb shit, like don't like make your villain like this giant dictator and then have somebody prank call him and call him a fascist to his face. You know,
yeah.
I'm not saying that the characters themselves, Kel. I'm gonna respond to Kel real quick. I'm not saying that the characters themselves are like Voss. I'm saying that like Voss set a template. Voss set a template of what of like putting a character in with these sort of like grandiose idea or like trying to be interesting, like pseudo interesting in their motivations or their ideals, and then it all really amounts to just like a dude. It all really just amounts to the same thing at the end. It's just like a dude doing shit to harm people because he has a built up idea of himself. I know that's a very reductive way to put it, but that's the like the common denominator between all the Far Cry villains, honestly. And to me, like for them to come out on stage, like literally on stage during the Ubisoft press conference and say like the villains in Far Cry are the most like outstanding, amazing villains in video games is so I get what you're like why they do it because they're trying to sell their game, but also at the end of the day, look at yourself in the mirror and really tell me that your villains are the best villains in video games because no,
And, like
they
to
are
me,
far
they're
cry.
just there to be really fun Saturday morning, villains that, oh, I'm led by greed and ego, and so I'm able to do all of these things that are unthinkable to most people. That seems about my look at the Far Cry villains.
And that's the thing is like if they were just that and weren't trying to lean into this like this dude will kill his entire population to maintain his fucking grip on this island because his father was the presidente before him and his son's going to be the presidente after him and he has to learn that actions have consequences and those consequences are me putting bullets in everyone's heads. Like that's different. Like this is they're trying to play off of like real life stuff but not really understanding how that reflects
Well, they
whenever
have
they
no
actually put the
interest
games
in
out.
being remotely political. Just,
But that's the
put on
thing,
the
though.
Yeah.
prestige of it.
But that's the thing, though.
Um,
Oh.
Lots of other things that you probably would expect. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is getting some DLC. Another
Mm.
year, another Just Dance. I mean, hard to complain there.
It's not on the Wii this time.
What a shame that the last game to ever be made for the Wii on like a large scale is the last two iterations of Just Dance. It's hilarious to me and I love it. Hey, you can play it on your Amazon Luna or your Stadia too. Don't forget.
Not surprised.
Um, Rocksmith Plus, a really interesting sounding subscription service, basically that gamifies your guitar playing for you to learn various tracks, and they seem to have a shitload of tracks available to you. That's awesome. I think that's one of their coolest things.
I actually tooled around with one of the OG Rocksmiths back in like the PS3 days
Mm.
and was learning how to play bass. And to be honest, it is probably one of the best teaching methods I've ever seen. It gauges your skill set coming into it, and then there are no real levels to choose, like for difficulty. It just kind of adapts and start adding in more notes and more techniques as you progress through and get better.
Hmm. Interesting.
It was really cool. I learned how to play the bass line for Say It Ain't So by Weezer and Wires by Red Fang
Nice.
in the span of like a month.
Yeah,
The only
like
downside is you need your own actual instrument.
anybody that puts out edutainment software that is actually good is going to have some small place in my heart always. And Rocksmith Plus is top tier edutainment software.
Yeah, especially and also like the dude like leading the team that's making that like seems super jazzed about it, and I'm always down for someone who is super jazzed about something like this niche in a way.
Yeah,
Like it's a really cool idea, and I think spinning it as a subscription service is the best way to go forward with a game like Rocksmith.
yeah.
So, or a tool rather now
Well, like it
than a
hadn't
game.
been updated in a long time, but meh. Rainbow Six Extraction gameplay trailer was shown. It's Rainbow Six.
I am. That seems. I need more information on that. Like
Same.
that just looks. It look. I can't decide if it looks interesting or if it looks uninteresting. Like it's somewhere in between for me.
But of
But it is
course,
interesting that they're like kind of building on the Rainbow Six Siege stuff because like they're using the operators from Siege in that game. So
Now, the one thing I was surprised we heard nothing about from Ubi is the new Division title.
hmm.
Because they did recently have a closed playtest.
they may be keeping it for future announcements. A lot of companies, especially in this E3, seem to be playing it close for especially larger cross promotional releases. That there's a lot of buzz that a lot of people held back many things until Sony does their summer play.
Yeah. I know with the new Division title, Heartland, um, their last bit of news that they dropped about it prior to the closed playtest was like the beginning of May. And they announced that it was coming out later this year. And I know the closed playtest was around the middle of May. Um, but of course, heavy NDAs abound because playtests. Um, but I really want to see what's happening. I've dove back into Division 2 again recently, and I need more. Give me more.
But of course, their big capstone to this was Avatar.
There's nothing like kicking back with the family.
I'm. It looks pretty. We knew that they were working on an Avatar game. It is perplexing though. Seeing this as a capstone. Um, seeing as a capstone to everything.
We're going to a dimension!
It seemed like everything else was far more marketable. I know that there is going to be a Avatar movie. They are planning for Avatar to be a whole expanded universe. So this is part of an overall marketing lurch to make Avatar a multimedia franchise. but it's not even out to 2022, and there's not a lot to show, but is a lot of sweeping scenery shots that are very pretty, do not get me wrong, but don't really tell me much.
It looks very pretty.
Yeah.
I have nothing inside of me that cares about this game.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
I'm with you, Brian. Like, it looks really pretty, but it also feels like almost a cut for cut game version of the movie.
Maybe there will be more hype about it. When we get into 2022, they'll probably be like, hey, the Avatar movie coming out fall of 2022, and play the related game, and people will be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, Avatar.
Well, the thing is like the world of Avatar is entirely uninteresting. Like, there's a reason like I know why they're making the sequel movies, because James Cameron is a fucking narcissist.
Mhm.
But like at the end of the day, like outside of whenever those movies are being made, like does anyone really have a like strong affection for Avatar?
You didn't really feel something shift within you during the hunt for the unobtainium?
Dude, it's Dances with Wolves in space.
Or Fern Gully 3D.
Yeah, that's like it's so derivative of so many other things. Like the only thing that made it is very much in the same way that I feel about looking at this game trailer. It was very pretty. I do not give a fuck about anything inside of this.
It was a very great way for them to sell us 3D video for a short period of time, and then everyone went, nah, we're good, and went back to their senses.
Yeah.
See, I made a terrible mistake because this was the very first 3D movie I ever saw.
Same.
Mm.
No,
And oh my
actually,
god, my stomach hated me.
I'm unsure if I saw Jackass 3D first. Anyway, that tells you more about who I was than anything, though. I'm going to see Jackass 4. You're not going to stop me. But that's your Ubisoft presentation boiled down in all of its glory. Yeah, the next was the Microsoft Bethesda announcements. Starting, of course, with Starfield.
We're going to a
Not out for an entire year and some change, but it looks really fucking ambitious. Of course,
It definitely does. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Oh
What
no,
were you
no,
gonna
it's
say?
okay. I was going to agree with y'all. It looks like a thing.
yeah, but
Yeah.
with the whole year and change, there is no way to have an opinion.
I mean, it's a very un-Bethesda way to announce the game, but it's the only way that they could, because like there was already a leak that came out previous to the press conference that Starfield was going to be this.
Mm.
You know, I think the Washington Post posted an article with with like the trailer that they showed prior, like it went live prior to the event. So like obviously they were going to talk about Starfield. It's just I'm used to Bethesda like with their big games like coming out and like announcing it, and then like 4 to 5 months later it's out,
Yeah.
you know? And so like in that way, like I think they honestly Bethesda didn't have a ton of other of their like tentpole stuff to announce
Mm.
or to talk about. So it makes a lot of sense that they would announce it this time around. Especially their first time being part of the Xbox umbrella now. That you want to have a big thing put out there. And also it's a very good time for people for them to remind people that this is going to be an Xbox exclusive. This is not coming to PlayStation. So like and that I think it was a good timing in that way. That being said, like there's still a ton of questions about Starfield that are not going to get answered probably for months, if not longer. So I don't know. Like it's an interesting idea. I want to see more. They really didn't say a ton about it.
To me,
Yeah.
everything Bethesda showed off was just them just strutting out their giant world building penis for everyone to see and look at. Whether or not you're actually going to buy anything, just a reminder, hey, we got the world building thing. We know what's up. Even if lately it has seemed not that way.
Um, though, did anybody else get a sense while he was talking along the lines of, at our new home here at Microsoft, like, did you not like mentally substitute the terms, our new lords and masters have demanded that we create new games? Like,
I don't know if I
it
got
just
that vibe.
he seemed a little less exuberant than he normally does.
I don't
Never struck
know.
me as
Definitely more subdued.
I mean, he's definitely more subdued. But that could have been just the fact that they didn't have the Elder Scrolls Online person screaming "yeah" at everything that they like in the crowd this time around.
Fair.
I don't know. Like he seems subdued, yeah, but I think that there's still some genuine interest there on Todd Howard's part. I wouldn't blame him if there wasn't, though. I mean, he's done a lot, and he's also suffered a lot of, in some ways, due criticism over certain things over the years as well. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if like Starfield is something like, all right, we got Starfield done. I'm fucking out.
Yeah, and let's be real. Right now is a hard time to even be enthusiastic about creating things because it is a lot more difficult at the moment to actually get things out. So
Mhm.
dude might just be tired.
Yeah. Did anybody else, though, feel the sting when they trotted out? It's been 10 years since Skyrim came out, and it's like, and where's my Elder Scrolls 6? It's
That's
been a freaking decade. Even by your standards, this is slow.
that's
I
not
I
what you're
love
supposed to say out loud though.
I love that they actually like near the end, like whenever Phil Spencer was doing his wrap up, like he was naming all these games that they didn't really talk about on the show, but like they were reminding you that these are in development alongside some other stuff. Like they mentioned the new Fable stuff that's being worked on, and then he said, and they all these different games they show like pictures or like some screenshots or like some like footage relating to that game, and then the very last one that he said was Elder Scrolls 6, but there was no picture. It just came back to him saying Elder Scrolls 6. So it's just like, yeah, we're making it, but we don't have anything to show you yet. So it's like it's very much just like I don't know. I that made me laugh to see that was like the only one in that little wrap up. That's like, yeah, we have it. We're gonna say the name, but fuck it.
You're not ready for our Elder Scrolls 6. It will blow your fucking brain out. We have to prepare you for the experience that you're gonna fucking have. If I showed you half a second of clip, your entire mind would explode. We want to actually have consumers that can buy the game. We can't show this shit to you yet. You are not prepared. Instead, you get Skyrim in space.
I hope it's not Skyrim in space.
Halo Infinite has been confirmed for holiday 2021. Still looks like Halo Infinite. It still looks like the same stuff we've been seeing so far.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a ton of new information about it this time around. You know, I think a lot of people were expecting holiday 2021 to be the time whenever the game would come out, at least the single player portion.
Mhm.
Multiplayer is getting launched earlier, like we already knew. It's going to be free, like we already knew. But I will say it was nice to kind of get those visuals and hear those like sound cues of Halo multiplayer again, and giving me a reason to maybe jump back into Halo multiplayer again
How
because it
fucking
has.
cool is that, though? That anyone can just fucking jump into Halo multiplayer. If you have a PC or an Xbox, it doesn't matter. You can play it through your fucking phone for all it matters because we'll stream it to you.
Yep.
There's so many ways to play Halo multiplayer, and that is amazing.
Yeah, I'm
Fact
into it.
The fact that they brought back the granddaddy behind like the best Halo games ever. Like he was behind the original and he was the driving force behind ODST, which were like the only really good ones. So bringing him back
I
for
like
Infinite
3.
was just stellar.
I like
3
3 and
was
Reach.
3 was ODST.
No, they were separate. They were separate games. But
Oh, I
like
thought they
yeah.
announced it as Halo 3 ODST.
Yeah, they did. It was like it was like a spin-off of Halo 3 initially, but then it
Hmm.
became just Halo ODST because it was it was the first game where you didn't play as Master Chief, and so everybody was
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, what is this gonna be?" Because it's not Master Chief. The other thing I will say this is that like I'm like Master Chief. Like, how many games are we gonna? I don't know. Like
I
I
am
want
with
say
you 100%.
Master
want to
Chief Smash.
put Master Chief in Smash and let him stay there for a while. Give me Halo games where I don't play as Master Chief for a little bit, please. That being said, though, like yeah, I'm the announcement here was cool, but completely expected. I
Yeah.
think.
Forza Horizon 5
I
announced,
need it.
going to Mexico.
There's nothing like kicking
It
back with the
looks
fam after a
needed.
long.
doesn't it?
Need
It's
it.
pretty.
Like
is-
4 was awesome.
Mm.
I still have fun with it. 5 just looks like they took everything that was good with 4 and bundled it up and then made it even better.
It's the first game that I've looked at ever that made me say, maybe I could use an Xbox in my life. Because it ain't gonna look
I'm
that pretty on
gonna.
my PC, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, it won't look that pretty on mine either, but I'm still gonna play the hell out of it.
Fair.
No, I think the one good thing about like Forza is not a series that really draws me in, and that's totally obviously that's fine. Everybody likes what they likes, but I do like the fact that they are setting this in Mexico and they are setting a game in Mexico that is not focused on the sort of aspects of Mexico that a lot of other video games like to focus on. Let's be
Drug
real.
running.
Yes, most of the time when you were setting a game in Mexico, it's about fucking drug cartels or crime or some other bullshit. And this time it's like it's like actual fucking Mexican culture, and like that seems really interesting to me. I just hope they stick the landing with some of that stuff because, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely places for it to go wrong for sure, but um, you gotta keep in mind, yeah, there is a lot of bad cartel stuff in Mexico, sure, but most of the time it's just people living their goddamn life. And people have fucking nice cars in Mexico. A lot of people do, and it's a beautiful place to go for a drive.
Yeah. I mean, 4 is set in the UK. You can tool around Edinburgh and like the English countryside and stuff like that. And I think it's the open world aspect of it that gets me. Um, because honestly, the most fun I've had in that game has just been dicking around with friends. And not even like the races end up being like an afterthought. And so you just futz around and see what kind of stupid shit you can get up to. And that's something that's what's driving like the Forza Horizon series for me at least. And being able to go, hey, I've got this car, and you can tune them completely. So you can sit and like retweak every aspect of this car, like to even to taking a supercar or a hypercar and changing it to all-wheel drive. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can.
Kelverin raises a good point. If this is what the Creation 2 engine really can produce, that's exciting. That is goddamn exciting. We also had the Redfall reveal trailer.
Dope.
We're going to a.
It just looks dope.
It really does look nice. Nothing about it really, like, beyond its aesthetic honestly spoke to me, but that is a nice aesthetic. I can't even begin to lie about that.
Well, so here's why it really stood out to me is because like this is the same team that made Dishonored and made Prey.
Uh,
They are and they they've really cut their teeth on immersive sim stuff, and this game feels like they are taking all of the things that they learned and built for those games and combining it into a multiplayer shooter that has a very interesting setting. It's just a perfect mashup of a bunch of different stuff into a thing that has a lot of interesting entry points to me. You know, like and honestly, like it's also a game where, like, let's be real, vampire stuff. As much as I like went on about the Vampire the Masquerade Battle Royale that was announced during the Games Fest kickoff on Thursday, vampire stuff can get very rote
hmm.
and very uninteresting.
Oh, it's
um,
easy as hell to do.
yeah, and this did not do that for me. Like I am into the style of it, I'm into the aesthetic of it. I want to learn more and like I don't know, like this just really drew me in and I want to play this. Like it just looks dope.
At this point, zombies is a good like scenery. It is not a good main driving force. You need something stronger than that. It's a good way to place your world into something people can understand and give you something that will happen different in your story.
Yeah, and the thing is like the people that behind this game, like they have a lot of experience with taking like rote enemy types and building them out into interesting presentations and interesting ideas and interesting visualizations of what those characters can be and can do in terms of abilities. But they also have a lot of experience like building out tool sets for players, whether it be like supernatural powers, as we saw in the game there in the presentation, as well as gunplay, as well as other combat stuff. Like it just seems like everything that they've worked on in their previous games is being put to work here in this one as well. And like it's just it's awesome. I want to see more. I want to see more.
Yeah. Diablo 2 Resurrected's release date has been announced.
It looks like it's coming to console.
Yay. I mean, like, if it comes to Switch, I might give it a try. Maybe. Uh, Stalker 2 release date announced April 28th next year.
Stalker is a series I've always wanted to get into, but never actually have. Like, I might Stalker 2 might be where, although I probably should just go play the original Stalker.
It just never really spoke loud enough to me to get me really that interested.
It's just such an interesting concept, you know?
Yeah,
Like that whole like haunted Chernobyl first person shooter has a lot of like Metro vibes to it as well. Like I don't know, I'm just it speaks to me.
Back for Blood is coming to Game Pass on day one. Woo. And Game Pass is really the story from all of this. That is the through line of holy shit. They are like we knew that they were coming with all of this Game Pass stuff, but what that roadmap really looks like is breathtaking.
Oh yeah.
Best value in gaming, hands down. You could be happy with just that and not need anything else if you're willing to sacrifice maybe some other exclusive for other consoles. Contraband announcement trailer, no gameplay. Eh.
I mean, it seems like it's gonna be like it's not a Just Cause game, but it's made by the people that make the Just Cause games, and it seems like it might have some Just Cause vibes to it. I don't know.
Outer Worlds 2 announced. A lot of people
Metro by
really
T-Mobile knows.
been pulled in by this. Outer Worlds 1 is great. It is space capitalism, the game.
So here's the thing with Outer Worlds 2.
Mm.
First off, like definitely the first game definitely warranted a sequel. It was good. They Obsidian proved that they could build that out and tell interesting stories in it. That's definitely there. I'm glad we have a second one. I think a lot of people were clamoring for Obsidian now with Bethesda under the Xbox umbrella to start working on a Fallout New Vegas 2 of some sort. Which I'm sure that's probably going to come down the pipeline at some point
Yeah.
because like you don't have both of those studios owned by the same fucking mega head conglomerate gaming thing, and you don't do that. But you know, Kelv in the chat, like, or somebody in the chat earlier, I can't remember if it was Kelv or somebody else, um, asked like what our thoughts were on the Outer Worlds 2 trailer, and the trailer itself, I thought was uh funny.
Yeah.
I loved it because, to me personally, this felt like a dig at every game announcement that Bethesda has ever made. And I know that like Obsidian worked with Bethesda to make New Vegas, you know, in terms of like a developer publisher sort of thing there. But you know, like Obsidian for a long time were like, we can do this better than you.
Yeah.
And it just really felt like they were like taking a lot of like stabs. Like, yeah, a lot of it was that more generalized game trailer announcement stuff, and explaining the joke and that sort of thing. But like, it did really feel like fucking like poking and prodding the bear now that they're both owned by Xbox and like Bethesda can't really do shit to them. I don't know. That was just my opinion.
The important thing is they can tell stories better than Bethesda can.
Oh, yes, they can. They could tell immensely better stories than Bethesda can. I know, Linz, you said you had thoughts too on the trailer. I'm
Oh,
curious.
yeah. Honestly, to me, that Outer Worlds 2 trailer was a fucking masterwork. Um, I have nothing but love for that trailer because of how well it took the piss. Like, it was fantastic. Just so good. So good.
Yeah,
And now
boys,
that
they
you
did a good
mention
job.
yeah, and now that you mentioned them, kind of poking fun at Bethesda, all I can think of is the initial Elder Scrolls 6 announcement that they
Which
had
one?
at that one E3 where we just got the title screen, and that was it.
I hate
Was it
Elder
really?
Dreams screen drop so fucking hard. Oh my god.
Oh, so stupid. Oh, God.
Sea of Thieves is getting a not Johnny Depp.
Oh, God. Why do we keep putting
We're
Captain Jack
going to
Sparrow
a
in things?
I mean, really, as far as Sea of Thieves goes, it makes sense.
Yeah, this is the one time that I look at bringing Jack Sparrow in and being like, yeah, no, this is good.
Curious if the Sea of Thieves audience actually wants this.
I know a few Sea of Thieves fans, and they're actually excited about it because the
Okay.
game's already like a lively, jokey atmosphere. So bringing pirates into it is kind of like bringing your hazelnut into your peanut butter.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like Jack Sparrow gets real annoying real fast, and I would I don't want to listen to him
But
talk.
with the way Sea of Thieves goes, I mean, there's no guarantee. There's nothing saying that if he gets too irritating, you can't shove him into a cannon and fire him at your enemies.
Yes. You can tell
That's
him to
true.
fuck right off and just interact with the other related stuff, or just go away from this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so to see how it's implemented.
Yakuza Like a Dragon is available today on Game Pass.
Yeah. Not just that, the entire Yakuza series is on Game Pass now.
Yeah, that's God, that Game Pass is so fucking good.
Like a Dragon is such a goofy, fun, like, but yet also like serious thing. It's one of those games that will like play with multiple tones in a way that works for the
Mm.
most part all around. I really like it.
Yeah, you don't get that in the same way too often of being goofy but also serious. Usually you end up in GTA clone area, which works for GTA, but not the clones.
Hmm. I will say though, it did throw me off to hear that trailer in English. It's like I am not used to playing a Yakuza game and having them speak English in the game. Like that just threw me off. I'm like, no, that's not no.
Wrong. Give me my real boys.
Please.
Battlefield 2042 gameplay reveal. Yeah.
It's Battlefield.
Eh.
There's a lot of people in it. Also sandstorms.
And giant tornadoes.
A spin-off to Euden Chronicle, the Suikoden spiritual successor, was announced.
Metro by
This one was
200 knows.
interesting because like the spin-off game is coming out before the actual game. Like like the actual like 100 Heroes like said coming 2023 and then the spin-off is coming 2022. It was just so weird.
I mean, it worked for Bloodstain.
It did. It did.
It,
I think I watched this and went, so wait, you're gonna spend like 10 minutes on the game that isn't coming out for another 2 years, but zero time whatsoever on the game that comes out next year. Okay.
You get one battle animation.
as far as I see, like, this is the sort of like, this is your teaser for the game you actually want, but this is something you can fuck around with in the meantime.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
There it is. Just the art is so goddamn pretty for this too. I'm excited.
It is.
Uh,
But you know what I'm excited about?
What's that?
Fucking 12 minutes.
Yes.
Give me my artsy fucking like writer ass shit. Please.
Yeah, 12 minutes looks amazing.
It's cool. You loud. Yeah, coming soon, and just keep messing around in your area and solve the short puzzle thing. Fun.
Yes.
Psychonauts 2 finally gets a release date. It has been in development for what it feels like my entire lifetime.
You know what?
Day
I'm
one
just-
Game Pass. Sorry.
I'm glad they got a release date. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I backed this 5 million years ago, so I'm excited to finally get the fruits of my investment. Microsoft Flight Sim is coming to the Xbox Series XS. Hell yeah. Flight Sim. Not for me, but looks great.
I'm very interested to see how that plays on console.
Yeah, I don't. Because there's hardly enough buttons on an actual keyboard for a Flight Sim, so.
Right? I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Didn't you know you can play it on a console, but you need to attach a keyboard?
Age of Empires 4, the Age of Empires series is fucking legendary, so I'm for it.
Yeah, and this looks like Age of Empires. It looks good. Like,
Doom Eternal also coming to Game Pass and making the housemates happy. More expansions and DLC coming for Fallout 76.
I could have sworn that Doom Eternal was already on Game Pass.
I don't, because it was Doom 2016 that came to Game Pass when they joined in basically off the bat, but I don't think Eternal was.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought Eternal was added, but Doom 2016 wasn't. I don't know. I could be wrong. But Either way,
Wait, really? I am so confused now. Thank you, Kelvin. Eternal is on Game Pass. 2016 is not.
there you go.
So,
Okay.
what?
Yeah, so they basically are talking about doing the next gen upgrade for the
Oh.
game. And then also a whole bunch of other Bethesda games are making it there that weren't there on the first pass, including all of the old Fallout games.
Oh, they did not age like wine to me, but hey.
I don't know. I'm cool with having another way to play Fallout 2.
Elder
Also
Scrolls
the
Online.
first Rage.
Sure.
Sorry.
Elder Scrolls Online is getting a enhanced edition.
Yep, just keep on supporting that thing. Same way that they're doing with 76.
Who plays ESO?
A lot of people apparently, like a lot of people jumped on whenever they did that whole free Tamriel setup where it became free to play.
No shit. I know that Fallout 76 actually has a pretty strong fan base, but I didn't know ESO did.
Yeah, it's like one of those like quiet MMOs that like has steadily accrued a very large player base that is very devoted to that game.
It's
Fair
one of those, this is something to hold us out till we finally get Elder Scrolls 6.
enough.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing Skyrim for a decade.
Hades hits Game Pass. Another fucking reason to have Game Pass.
Dope.
Another game for the maker of Limbo and Inside. Always welcome, Somerville.
Okay, so that's why it felt like Limbo and Inside. It's the
Yep.
same folk. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm so
well
excited for it.
yeah, it isn't actually Playdead that's making it, but it's one of the co-founders that left Playdead to form their own studio that's making this game. So yeah, it definitely has that heavy vibe to it. Somerville was one of those that stood out a lot to me out of this
Nice.
presentation.
A new Plague Tale was a huge bomb.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, Plague Tale was such, like, yet again, it's another one of those games that seemed to have come out of nowhere and swept everyone away, so cool that they have another.
Just seeing that wave of fucking plague rats like swarming through the fucking city streets in that trailer was just oh. It
Uh,
reminded you about every nasty feeling you got playing the first one.
yeah. We've talked enough about Far Cry 6. You can watch the gameplay. Slam Rancher 2 announced? Fuck yeah. Game
Get the good
Pass
little
day
squishy
one.
boys.
God, Slam Rancher is good. I cannot fuck. Oh. I'm going to have to get Game Pass. There's no question about it. Shredders looks amazing.
It does look really good. It also looks a lot like one of those simulation snowboard games that is like it definitely has its audience, but I just don't know if it's going to pull in enough. Like I don't know how large of an audience it's going to pull in
Yeah,
beyond the people that are just wanted to go out and like snowboard for real.
yeah, less arcadey, more sim. Atomic Heart's also coming to Xbox Game Pass.
Oh my god, Atomic Heart. Okay. Sorry, we have to take a second
Okay.
with Atomic Heart. This trailer was probably the most bonkers thing that I saw on any of the presentations so far on E3. This trailer
We're going.
is wild. Like in and of itself, it looked like a mashup, like you know those mashups of different games that they do at the end of press conferences, where it's like this thing and this thing and this thing. This is like our lineup of stuff. Like all of that composed into one thing is what this Atomic Heart trailer was. Like along with like Russian like Eurovision music playing behind it. Like it's wild and like it has me completely intrigued. It like grabbed me by the throat and made me watch it. I need to play this game.
I didn't get any of that. Well, that looks weird. Okay.
Maybe I'm
grab
just
me
like
at all.
way into dumb weird shit. I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I need to know more about Atomic Heart.
I can understand that. I mean, it has a cool looking aesthetic. Just nothing about the gameplay really looked like it stood out to me.
Yeah.
Discover the dark secrets of Phoenix City. Yeah. Another cyberpunk game. Not
The art style
cyberpunk.
looks cool.
It's a.
I said,
Go ahead.
sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting you off. I was just saying that the art style looks really cool.
Yeah, the art style is great. We don't have enough, side-scrolling adventure sort of games in this world, and so I'm happy for that. It looks beautiful. Let's see. Grounded, yeah. Among Us is getting 15-player lobbies for yet even more Among Us action.
Yep.
The Ascent. Go ahead.
I will say for the whole Grounded DLC expansion trailer, however you want to call it, um, the fact that it's centered around this broodmother spider, um, but they're including an arachnophobic mode,
It is
it
helpful.
kind of it speaks to me because I'm like, this game looks awesome, and then I saw giant spider and went, fuck no. And then Peter's like, but look, they've got an arachnophobic mode. You can turn it into this cute little squidgy blob. And I'm like, but then the blob's so cute, I might want to keep it and not kill it. But yeah, it's helpful and it's nice to see that they're understanding of folk who are afraid of spiders.
Capstone is getting a July 29th release date. And
Yes,
again,
the Ascent.
also Game Pass.
I'm excited for the Ascent. This is from the same studio that made Ruiner, which was a cyberpunk sort of
Metro by
vibe
T-Mobile.
to it as well. This is a co-op, sort of in the same vein as Ruiner, or at least similar vein as Ruiner. So like this speaks to me a lot. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, it's the art aesthetic is fucking great. This is definitely a game that speaks to a lot of people, and boy, Cyberpunk, the actual game, may have fucked up, but there's a lot of other Cyberpunk games coming out which will happily take its place as actually being Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah. There's a bunch of games that are already out that have that mantle better than Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. The PC gaming show took place. Underwhelmed a lot of people. It was just a lot of trailers lumped together, and most of them were from small indie devs, so not great looking trailers. So it kind of just happened and whirled together.
That's
So-
the one major presentation I haven't watched yet. Sorry, Lance, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I was gonna say I can pretty much sum up the PC gaming show as the resident PC gamer on this show.
Mhm.
There was a PC gaming show.
Yeah, I watched it with Highlander, and it just blended like a giant blob. I'm sure it is. There are a lot of great games that deserve within this mix to have really gotten a highlight bigger than this, and maybe some of these get eyes that they didn't have otherwise. A couple other of items that came out. Humankind is getting a closed beta ahead of launch. Orcs Must Die is finally done with its Stadia exclusivity, so people can actually play it. Yeah, I think those are the big ones.
I need to look up what Dodgeball Academia is.
There was the Square Enix show, which, if you look at all of this on paper, it sounds amazing, yet had the worst fucking presentation. How did you do that?
I don't know
They
if I
blew
go
their
so far
budget
as
on
say they-
hiring Matt Mercer.
I mean, they did do that, I wouldn't go so far as to say it was the worst presentation because remember I watched the Gearbox
Yeah,
presentation.
yeah.
But but yes, like I think they made choices. They made choices. Um, because the first 30 to 35 minutes of this show was talking all about the new Guardians of the Galaxy game that's coming out soon. And I understand why they did that, considering that it's coming out like literally what in October?
Yeah, October
Yeah.
26th.
Yeah, so like they announced, and this is them announcing the game too. So like they want you need to get out in front of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't know, like if spending half of your entire press conference on one game is the best route to go with these things. Especially whenever there was a lot of repetition in the footage that they showed.
Yeah, it did not
Yeah.
sell me on this game. Like, it should be an easy fucking sell, and it feels like this is just Square doing the same thing with Marvel of like this should be an easy no-brainer, and then you made it look like the most goddamn boring thing possible.
Well, I will say this much: this game appeals to me way more than Marvel's Avengers did.
Mm.
Mainly because it's not a fucking live service thing. It's literally just it's an action adventure game with you and squad mates that you can interact with. I think they definitely missed something where you didn't build in a multiplayer concept here where you could have people come in and actually play as the other Guardians.
Mm.
And giving players control of Star Lord and Star Lord only is a choice to be made there, but I'm sure they have their reasons.
I
But
can kind of understand why to make it feel like you're actually playing with these other characters rather than you are these other characters, if that makes sense. I could understand why have just that narrative.
it is, and to be fair, like a lot of the story elements with the Guardians is their relationships together and how they interact and how they remain a cohesive team over the course of what happens to them. And giving the dialogue tree stuff there and the way that they interact in combat, like definitely speaks to a lot of that stuff. Um, I don't know. I am somewhat interested in this, like the actual video game part of this looks
Yeah.
fun, but I don't know. I might need a little bit more selling on the whole concept, personally.
I think the game might be good. Like, it looks pretty good to me, but you sold it in the worst fucking way possible to
Mm,
me.
yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it looks like a cool concept. After the travesty that was Avengers, um, they anybody who takes on another Marvel game is going to have that dark cloud hanging over them. Anybody. And I mean, I'm kind of bummed that you don't get to play as anybody else but Star-Lord because sometimes you just want to be a murderous raccoon.
Very true.
Because we've all had those days where we can just channel Rocket to the extreme. But at the same time, I mean, I'm gonna give it time. I'm gonna wait till this game drops. I'm gonna take a look at player reviews. I'm not gonna look at
Yeah.
critics because critics are gonna be told to sell the hell out of this game. Um, I'd much rather take a look at the player reviews after it actually drops and it gets some miles under it before I even consider picking it up.
All right. Unrelated to any of that, I have a one question here. Final Fantasy Origin or the Pixel remaster of Final Fantasy 1 through 6.
Yes.
Everyone seems mad that it's Steam and mobile. I don't get it.
I guess because they want it on console.
But like the phone especially seems like a great place to have Final Fantasy 1 through 6 in an actual good mix.
It really does. Those games are perfect for a phone,
Yeah.
honestly.
This is like, I swear to God, gamers have this instant reaction when you say something is coming to the phone of going, oh, well, it must be trash then.
Now, I will say this. I think part of that reaction is because Square Enix has put out like versions of Final Fantasy games on mobile before, and they have been complete dog shit.
Absolutely.
So, in that instance, yes, I understand that concern. But if they're quantifying those statements as just simply it being on mobile, then get out of here with that. Like that doesn't exist here anymore. Because this is a perfect place. As long as these games are good, that's the perfect place to put this. Honestly. Um, that being said, I will be right back. Sorry, I have to pop out real quick.
No worries. Life is Strange is getting remastered. I can see why. Like, I saw a lot of people saying, well, what do you remaster about Life is Strange? There were some clunky ass bits in Life is Strange, so I understand that. As well, it's really cool to see them continuing the Life is Strange universe with the True Colors release that is going to be coming out. It's still in development with no time frame, but is a prequel to the existing franchise.
I mean, I will fully admit, I have tried playing Life is Strange.
Hmm.
And part of the reason I gave up on it as quick as I did is the contrast in it. Like, I couldn't see, like, physically see half of the shit that I needed to do.
Yeah, they definitely overdid their filters, so I'm cool
So,
with the remaster.
yeah, seeing this remaster is enough to make me go, you know what? Maybe I'll give it another shot because I've heard nothing but good things about this series.
It's so good.
And I
It's so
kind of
good.
want to see what it's like and, actually be able to see what it's like.
Mm.
Yeah, no, it's such a good. This is a no-brainer, honestly, to put this remaster out, especially with True Colors coming up really soon, because that looks like it's going to be just as good, um, if not even better than the previous Life is Strange games. So
Very shortly, they dropped Legend of Mana Remaster is coming.
yeah,
Okay.
just an update on what was previously announced. They put a date on it this time. So
They've got some collabs coming. Nier is going to mobile. Okay.
yeah, they forget about the near mobile game.
Hitman Sniper, The Shadows is another phone game.
Which
I'm
makes
con-
sense. I think they have the Hitman license for mobile games specifically, since they had to split with IO.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I will admit I'm kind of concerned about seeing Nier come to mobile. Because we live in an era where we, for the most part, have fixed storage on our phones.
Hmm.
And I know the first Nier game, because Peter tried playing through it, has something like 200 hours of gameplay.
They're just not going to render 2B's ass in such high quality detail as it did in the regular game. I'm sure they'll find other ways as well to make that constraintless. The last major announcement that they ended off on, and this trailer that they put out is really way too short for its own fucking good. Team Ninja is putting out a Final Fantasy Souls like, based upon the original Final Fantasy, named Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin.
I
Because we needed longer titles.
I am so into this. Like
I am excited.
the trailer was like super dumb. Like it's so aggro. It's so overly aggro.
Yes.
Like it's just ridiculously overly aggro to the point that it blends into absurdity. Like you're literally fighting a dude named Chaos. Like you're screaming dust as you turn people into dust. Like he's just screaming how angry he is as he's punching people, and like it blends the Neo style gameplay into a Final Fantasy setting really, really well. I'm into it. I just wish that the demo worked.
Yeah, for most people, the vast majority of the demo is fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're working on a fix. I'm sure it will be out within a few days. So, that is not a great way to make a first impression. Is to have a trailer be very unceremoniously plucked out at the end of the show, and then say, "Hey, there's a demo," and then the demo doesn't work. I don't
I mean,
blame Team Ninja for any of that myself.
Oh no.
I
These things
will
happen.
I will say watching this trailer, I'm sitting there going, okay, so we've got Final Fantasy meets Devil May Cry with the writing team of Duke Nukem Forever.
Yes.
Ugh, God.
That's
I'm
pretty much all I could say for this game. Like it just it fell really flat for me.
I don't know. I wouldn't go so far as to say Duke Nukem Forever because that makes me not want to play the game because Duke Nukem Forever is fucking gross. But but I
I
get the comparison. I get the comparison though, like the overly aggro sort of thing. It's so much more moody than and angsty than Duke Nukem Forever was though.
yes,
It's
just
just like
give me the
the
cringe. Feed it to me. I love it.
It's like the motherfucker has like an Interpol album playing in his ears the entire time that he's like wielding his Buster Sword. He's like, I need to listen to the Used. Get out of my way, dust. And I'm sorry, that's my aesthetic. I'm into it. Like it's stupid, but I'm into it.
So can we have you like sign on as a voice acting team for this?
Yo, I'll fucking run in there and talk about how angry I am as I'm fucking punching.
Yeah, so
Just, it's just gonna be me running around singing a box full of sharp objects.
if we're ever able to actually play Final Fantasy Origin, we will tell you guys what we think of it. I imagine both me and Brian have interest.
Yes, I am very interested in this. And before we move off of the Square Enix thing here, just real quick, they did not release a date for the Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale mobile game. I am annoyed. I am annoyed and angry. You give me a release date, damn it.
I swear, I think you might be the only one truly excited for that battle royale, and that's
I need
great.
I need to become the first soldier.
Limited Run Games had a show.
Oop.
And there's a couple of neat items on this. You've got your Axiom Verge 2, looks great.
Yes. Oh,
There is more River City Girls coming out. River City Girls 0, as well as a remaster of the original. More Shantae is always fine. Putting Super Hot in another console, always welcome. Zombies Ate My Neighborhood. But
yo, you're bearing the lead here.
yeah, the capstone was Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. That was their capstone for their presentation. Was Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. If you are not familiar, it is the most cringy FMV game to make it to console. I shouldn't say ever, because boy, the PC had some fucking cringe ass shit.
Well, here's the thing. Is it really FMV though, considering it's all still image?
Yeah, no, it's a slideshow.
Yeah, it's a slideshow.
Oh, so no processor power, no GPU required. Gotcha.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's coming to Switch. Why is that game on Switch?
And you can buy the physical release
Jesus.
of
Might be
Plumbers
something to
Don't Wear
buy just to put on a wall. It's just so stupid.
It's amazing and I love it. It's great. Capcom had the disappointment of a fucking show.
Well, the thing with Capcom is like they got out ahead of this and said they were saying that we're not talking about anything new. We're just talking about stuff that's already out or that we've already announced. So it was really just like very minimal updates on stuff. Like, they confirmed that there's DLC for Resident Evil 8 coming. They confirmed that that multiplayer Resident Evil game, that RE Verse title, is coming out next month. And then they detailed a bunch of Monster Hunter and Ace Attorney stuff.
Yeah, the vast majority of its runtime was Monster Hunter and the Great Ace Attorney. I believe there was 10 minutes for the Great Ace Attorney presentation. I'm definitely interested in that. If I have time for it, I will get to it, but I don't see myself having time for it, to be frank.
I don't know. You got to make time to hang out with Detective Herlock Sholmes.
Herlock Sholmes. So glad they pulled this one out.
I love it. Love it so
Um,
much.
There will eventually be some DLC for Resident Evil Village.
Hmm.
When? Nah. Just
Also,
be
a whole lot
honest.
about. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over. I was gonna say also a whole lot about Capcom esports apparently.
Yeah, they spent a fair amount of time on that. That was actually pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah, no, it's dope. The thing is, like, I don't know. The Street Fighter scene is probably the least like interesting major fighting game scene for me personally. So I was like, all right, this is cool, but like, whatever.
Excuse me. So yeah, the Capcom thing, it mostly existed to probably keep people in mind that they exist.
Yeah, I mean the major stuff was the Monster Hunter stuff, but like it's good to see that like they confirmed that Resident Evil 8's getting some DLC. So
But boy, the capstone of E3, the crown jewel, is always Devolver. And they did not disappoint yet again.
no,
This year they put
whole
out
lot of
the
fun.
Devolver Max Pass Plus showcase, where you can spend money to buy games in the. You have to watch it, because even during the showcase, explaining the joke concept is the joke.
Exactly.
Uh,
No, but
go
the
ahead.
games though were really interesting too.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Shrek.
I didn't
Um,
get to watch it, and I just flipped through the list of games, and I just mentally spent like my next 12 paychecks.
Shrek to Yumi was first, and it is beautiful. It is. God, we have to play it to understand it. Explaining it does not work.
yeah, it looks like a very fun, like sort of like macabre feudal Japan sort of feel to it.
Like, it feels like you're watching an old movie on VHS that never really got released somehow.
Hmm. Wizard with a Gun, on the other hand.
Need
Yeah,
it.
you've gone from this amazing cinematic masterpiece to the most ridiculous thing, and I love it.
I just love that the title is just Wizard with a Gun. Like it's just up front. Like, yep, this is it. Dig in.
What's our
Oh,
idea? What if Vivi from Final Fantasy, but have gun? How
I'm
many?
thinking more of like a magic-ish based co-op version of Among Us.
I watched the Devolver with Joe and Josh, and I have never seen Josh more excited for a game than Wizard with a Gun. I don't blame him. This is, if you love your absurdist wizarding bullshit, this is your alley. This is your alley right the fuck here.
hell yeah.
Absurdist wizarding bullshit. Isn't that just wizards in a nutshell?
but they have guns now.
Depends on how high fantasy you're going.
Fair point.
Yeah, certainly like I've played games where you magic through gun, but making a game that is about nothing but that, fantastic. Inscription, also interesting looking.
Yes,
So
this
needed.
is very interesting to me. Like the creator of Pony Island makes a horror deck builder.
I love it. It has chutzpah.
Like what the fuck? It's so weird. And I need it.
Yep.
What you got for us, Mr. Graves? I am so excited for this though. Give me horror in unexpected ways. I didn't expect ever to see a horror deck builder, but I love it. Yeah, the Hex was also a great game.
Yeah, the Hex is something I haven't played it, but everything I've read and seen of it just like speaks to me.
I admittedly have played through neither. I have watched the Hex and Pony Island.
I have played Pony Island. I raged quit after an hour.
Sounds like Pony Island.
Hollis did play Pony Island for the channel after having his teeth pulled. He was high as hell on painkillers and played through the first half of Pony Island and loved it. Devolver Tumble Time. I still don't exactly understand what this is, but the commercial was so ridiculous. It's great.
It's a little mobile thing.
Yeah, I
Isn't
do
it
believe it's a
like-
free mobile thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's free.
Isn't it like Devolver does Fall Guys a la mobile?
I don't think it's like Fall Guys. I think it's
No.
more like a almost like a match 3 sort of thing. I don't know. They didn't really talk much about what the actual game is.
Yeah, it struck me as a casual game. But still, you have to sit down and watch this. I'm not playing the audio because it's very common, but give a watch. Watch this whole thing. It's good. It's worth your time.
Yeah.
Demon Throttle by developer Doinksoft, the creators of Gato Roboto, coming to Nintendo Switch as a physical box set and only a physical box set through our friends at Special Reserve Games.
That's a really interesting choice. I get it, in this artificial scarcity world that we live in when it comes to drops and stuff like that. But I don't know. The game looks rad. I will say
Yeah.
that much. And Gato Roboto was really fun.
Yeah,
So,
Gato Roboto is fucking great, and this is sort of a throwback to like the 80s PC Engine sort of games.
I got PC Engine. I also got like those like really high concept NES games.
Yeah. It's cool looking. I don't know if I will buy a physical copy and it's not coming to download, so you can't. But I dig the idea. Just, I do love these, like, high concept release things.
Yeah.
Death's Door?
Oh, Death's Door. I will have much more to say about this whenever we do our like final E3 wrap up on Wednesday, but like Death's Door is a game that is easily like jumping up the list of my most anticipated things coming out of this.
Yeah, I should mention, by the way, Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and I will say this as well in the Discord, we will be coming back to wrap up the items that take place over your Tuesday. Really excited to talk about Nintendo, and probably talk about what our big takeaways were from this E3, what you're actually going to remember in the weeks and months after from this release, or from this
Yes.
week.
Yes.
Phantom Abyss, I don't really have a lot to say about it. It- it's a cool
Phantom
idea.
is a very cool idea, and it's another one of those games that, much like Death's Door, I would have a lot more to say on Wednesday. This game is really intriguing. Like the concept and the ideas behind it, and how all the mechanical workings of it is really, really intriguing.
Yeah, the idea of asynchronous Legends of the Hidden Temple, where you have other people dying to show you where not to die. I'm for it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I really want to try this one, but the fact that if you fail a temple once, you can't do it again, that is going to frustrate me because how else am I gonna learn?
yeah, I'm absolutely not playing it because I don't have the capabilities of like reacting in that quick of a time frame without attempts to start get the muscle memory. But I understand the appeal. It looks good. I'm not touching it. And Capstone was Shadow Warrior 3, due out on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One later this year.
Game just looks wild. Looks like a Shadow Warrior.
Yeah, if you love Shadow Warrior, it's more Shadow Warrior. How do you go wrong with more Shadow Warrior if you already love Shadow Warrior?
Exactly.
It looks like so much fun.
It's a whole lot of blood.
My favorite part of the whole thing was the little box full of mail for Hotline Miami 3. So they knew.
Yes. Yes.
It just got right ahead of what the internet was going to say. But the most memorable thing from the presentation was that it is all available on a VHS tape with the recording tab pulled off. So it is a not fuckwithable tape that you can buy from Devolver if you meet the requirements. Only one person can buy it for $1,000.
So it's so dumb, but it also is such a great little parody on the NFT dumb shit that's been happening.
It is the
I
most
don't.
Devolver of Devolver fucking moves, and I applaud them.
God.
All right. And as stated, we will be back on Wednesday at 8 p.m. to go over the Nintendo, wrap up our big winners and losers for E3. But we can't let you go today without going over our Mr. Video Game. Of course, Mr. Video Game is the award received for having the thing, person, place, noun that you can only really look at and go, holy shit, that right there, that thing is video games. And Mr. Video Games for the week of June 14th, 2021. The Xbox Mini Fridge is coming alive. It is a real thing. I actually kind of fucking want this. It's great. It is just a mini fridge in the shape of your Xbox Series console.
It's so dumb.
I mean,
It's
really though, is it any dumber than the KFC console?
Not at
Well, the
all.
thing is they actually made it though. That's what makes it even dumber. Is that they actually made it and you can actually buy it.
I think they are making the KFC console
Yeah.
later. It's just a PC that's rigged up though.
I'll believe it when I see it. I'll do some looking. I don't know. This just still seems like it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice. This is just they're both dumb. They're both really dumb.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's too huge. It's big enough to handle a couple of your cans of soda. It's hard to complain. No price point yet, so depending upon the price point, may or may not be a purchase, but
You
I'm
know this
just
thing's gonna
excited
be
to see
over
it.
$100.
Yeah, if it's like $129.99, it's a fucking cute decoration to put in your office.
God, fucking capitalism.
All right.
Anyway,
thank you all for your time. Sorry to have rushed some parts, but we do have limited time frame to get all of this done. As always, thank you to Diablo, Kelverin, Lilac, Coop, and anybody else who listened during the point of the show and didn't talk. E3 is, of course, the best time to be in this position because there is so goddamn much to talk about. And as well, if you don't know, the game Control is for free on Epic Games. It is one of the greatest games ever. Please fucking get it if you do not have it already. Brian, any final words for this evening?
Just come back on Wednesday. We'll have more to talk about and wrap this whole thing up. And I'll actually get to talk about more on this long ass list of things that's gonna grow. I know it's gonna grow. So yeah.
Lady Merowyn, final words for us today?
You know what? Yeah, we'll see y'all on Wednesday. We're all like game brained right now, so give us time. Give us time. Let us assimilate all of this knowledge and continue rebuilding our budgets so we can afford all of the games that we desperately want.
I'm gonna go watch the PC gaming show.
Hell yeah. Keep up with us on the tweeters if you want to know what we are up to. Of course, the Discord is your best place to speak with us at any time. Often you will catch us talking about the current stories or talking about the games that we are currently playing in the Now Playing channel, as well as politics and other lefty bullshit, because that is who we are and what we do. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.